What's good, everybody? How you doing? Having a bad Starlink day, guys. I don't know if this is gonna work. I hope it will. Let me check the quality over on YouTube. If this is gonna work, I guess it will. Guess it's going okay. It's a bit bad quality, but it is what it is. Alhamdulillah, it's good now. Yeah, Starlink's been giving me a hard time all day, but it turns out that telecom is running fiber optics to my neighborhood, so I might retire to Starlink. Anywho, let's put this phone on silent. Let's get into it. No, China's spying on me again. Freaking Chinese. First off, if you don't know, myself, Mahdi Tajani, and Muhammad Malik, aka the famous Finding Muhammad, will be doing a eat and greet in London. You can find the details, the landing page to that event in the description of this video. Make sure you get there. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And I really don't have a topic today, to be honest. I don't even, I have like so many topics that I don't have a topic. I just been so busy. I haven't had a chance to really like go over anything. All the stuff I wanted to talk about, I actually covered in a video. I know what we'll talk about. We'll talk about the shock and awe over on Matthew's channel, especially his Instagram. I find it hilarious, that everyone's so shocked and surprised that sisters are giving these anonymous confessions out there about the sexual proclivities they have. Just crazy. Because what's crazy about it is because I've been talking about this for years. And so now I'm surprised that everyone's surprised because I've been saying it for years. You can even go back. I had Sterling Cooper on my channel. And if you don't know who Sterling Cooper is, he he's an adult entertainer. He works in the adult entertainment industry. And I had him on the channel and we were talking about how just women are women, including Muslim women. And, I caught a lot of backlash for it. I used to say this stuff on Twitter all the time, like years ago. Go back 4 or 5 years ago when I was fighting Muslim Twitter. And now all of a sudden it's like this huge thing. Everybody's like, oh, wow, it's amazing. Oh, I can't believe it. Bro, this is amazing. I'm not hating on Mehdi at all. That's my homie. But it's just like, I find it amazing that y'all are like 5 years behind. I said this 5 year ago. 4 or 5 years ago. Unbelievable that so many people are shocked that sisters are actually like this. And I even said it. I said it like this. I said sisters would rather be gutted from the navel to the neck with a rusty spoon than admit this is true. And when they got the opportunity to admit it anonymously, what did they do? They told y'all anonymously. I'm shocked that everyone is shocked because I've been saying it for years. Half a decade I've been saying this on social media. So when you watch my channel, guys, and you watch my videos, understand that you are roughly 5 years ahead of the game. 5 years. I'm a visionary. I'm dropping stuff that guys will not pick up for another 5 years. 100%. I just dropped a video today. I recorded one today. I promise you, dudes are not going to understand. They're going to get mad. Sisters are going to get mad. They're not going to understand. 5 years later, everybody will be embracing it. Guaranteed when that video comes out, people are going to get upset. But in 5, 6 years, people are going to embrace it and act like it's a new, revolutionary, amazing thing. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have a problem with social isolation. Any help would be appreciated. You got to be more detailed than that. What is social isolation in your understanding? What does that mean? Well, yeah, I'm not a sensationalist. I just drop raw facts. You're right. I mean, that's one thing I don't do. I can't do sensation. I'm like 50, man. How am I going to sensationalize stuff? I don't know how to do that. But I can't drop raw information, and everybody should be able to like just process it. Be like, yeah. Abuamerican said that. I ain't hating. It's good. I'm glad that Mehdi has capitalized on people's very I hate to say it. I'm gonna say it though. Very low IQ. Because if you need like information to be blingy and flashy in order to absorb it, good on him. Good on him. He's smarter than me. He's younger, so he's more dynamic. He understands the mentality of the people. I don't want to insult the people. But I'm like, when information's good, it's good, and I just take it. I mean, just imagine, this is why I got to the understanding that I'm at, because it's like when I was absorbing the information of red pill, even though I don't really ascribe to red pill anymore, I admit that it has helped my life. I do admit that, especially with women. It was boring. It was dry. It was plain, but I just trudged through it because I could actually see the benefit to my life in it. So it wasn't spectacular. Look at Rollo Tomasi's books. They're not flashy. They're not blingy. They're not like sensational. It's a lot of raw information. It's actually, if you're not interested in the topic, it's a very difficult read, his books, the Rational Male series. It's very hard to read if you're not like, into the topic. So yeah, I wish I could do it, man. I'm somewhat of a geek. I ain't gonna lie. I'm somewhat of a nerd. I said it to Mehdi as a Salafi, inshallah. I love that women are coming out with these fantasies. I always sure they had them. Look for Salafi women with them. I'm definitely not a romantic guy. Yeah, 100%, bro. I've said it for quite some time that, these women, they are, I remember the term I used, sexual savages. And read their proclivities now. Read what they're writing over there on his Instagram channel. Savages. That's the term I used. Sexual savages. Yeah, absolutely. I don't see why there should be any shame in it. Okay, we don't go around talking about like our personal proclivities and our personal preferences like in great detail. Obviously, it's not something that's just daily conversation for Muslims. Maybe for non-Muslims it is, but for us, it's really not. But at the same time, we shouldn't act like these things don't exist. The topic of like, intercourse and the pleasure related to it in general, there's nothing, bad or shameful about it in Islam. So I don't know why we act like there is. A lot of people have, some pretty serious cultural hangups in regards to this topic. So, yeah. Any tips on increasing beard growth? It's connected, but I wanted more. I really don't have any tips. This is like, bro, I became a Muslim in 1998. That's when I accepted Islam. I haven't touched my beard since. I mean, I've done lineups and stuff, but like, you see this right here? This hasn't been touched since 1998. Look at it, bro. I can't help you, man. If I knew something, I would have these patches. I always joke I got like mange to the face. If I knew some secrets, bro, I'd jump right on it, man. I'd let you know, inshallah. There's a married dude shocked, and I'm here a virgin. I didn't even raise my eyebrows. I thought this was common sense. I try to tell people, man, I try to tell people, but like the brother said, I wasn't sensational enough. I don't know how to be sensational. I don't. I'm like, again, I'm like something of a geek. I'll like deep dive into research. And I talked about this a long time ago. I'm like, if you look back on my Abuamerican Facebook page, one of the first posts I did was I showed through scientific research, literally like deep dive with brain scans and photos of brain scans, the differences of how men and women's minds work. It's literally brain scans, and I talk about it in detail with research. I'm something of a geek and a nerd. People might not believe that, but it is true. I need a fan. I am sweating in here. I don't know where my fan is. Also very unfortunate because I'm sweating like crazy. But anyway, whatever. If I'm not mistaken, you would prefer Malaysia over Turkey for future hijra. Why is that? Simply because the laws on polygyny. I have multiple wives, so I have to look at their status. Whatever country I go to, Malaysia, they don't have a problem with it. Turkey does. So Turkey has a problem with polygyny. It's not legal there, but in Malaysia it is. So it would make it easier for me to bring my families there as opposed to Turkey. Give me 1 second, guys. They actually had a reputation of that for quite some time. It's not so bad anymore, apparently, but they do have a reputation of being anti-Muslim Islam. Give me 1 second. Oh, how so very unfortunate. Sorry, guys. I'm back. Wait. Sorry. Can't find the fan. I'm like, I bought these, I have two desktop fans that are USB. Keep it cool. Yeah, it's a call-in show. If you want to come on, let me give you guys the link. Okay, there you go. How do I got my first wife not to run off if I take a second? She's threatening to take the kids. What's it worth to take a second wife? I mean, as a guy who's 100% pro polygyny, I'm 100% pro polygyny. But Kaiser Soha has say you don't have to go online with your camera up, but you got to put your camera up for me to see that you're a real person in order for us to go live. You can turn it back off. You're still backstage, but you got to turn your camera on. So, as a guy who's pro polygyny, I have to ask, what's it worth in order to take a second wife? Especially if you think you're going to lose, access to your kids. Maybe you won't lose access to your kids, but you're going to break up your family. Is it worth it? I don't know. Anyway, to be clear, to go back to your question, there's no way to make sure she won't run off. She might not. If you're that guy for her, if you're the guy that she's actually very attracted to, you've been maximizing yourself in all areas, work, fitness, your mindset and all these types of things. There's a good chance she's there's a good chance she's going to, push you to not take a wife by way of threats. A lot of women do this. They're bluffing. And most women know that guys are they're going to swerve when they play a game of chicken. If you don't know what chicken is, it's when two cars drive towards each other and the first person to swerve off is the chicken, and obviously they lose. And a lot of women will do that. They'll play chicken with you. And some women, they're dead serious. The only problem is you have to play the game of chicken to find out who's serious and who's not. And so if you're looking at the breaking up your family unnecessarily, it's probably okay, Kaiser, cool. It's probably not worth going into. If you think you're going to break up your family and your kids are, going to be in a split household, and this comes from Abuamerican, a guy who's actually done that, split up families and whatnot. I wouldn't advise it. There's some things I can't say I wouldn't be polygynous in the past, but I definitely do things differently because I had the opportunity to be polygynous, but I was too goofy and stubborn in some points, to actually do it properly to where I could keep my family together. If you can do it and keep your family together, even if no matter what, even if she's down with it, and give me a second, Kaiser, we'll bring you on. even if she's down with it from the start, the thing is there's going to be a rough patch at the beginning because you're throwing in a whole new woman. You know, she's going to have her insecurity. She's going to have her doubts. She's going to have her jealousy, her anger, and she's going to be mad. And so you're going to run into a rough patch. So I always say, like, your relationship has to be up here in order to have a polygynous relationship, because the moment you take another wife, you're going to see a drop in it. So if you're already down here and say off the screen is divorce, if you're down here and you're trying to start a polygynous relationship, you know what I mean? Even if she's down for it, if your relationship's not really good, it's going to get worse. There's always going to be that dip in the relationship. Not always. Let me not say always, but generally, even on a good relationship, you're going to see strain and stress. So ask yourself, what's it worth? You know, there's no guarantee that she's not going to run off. There's no way you can guarantee that. You know, just be the best that you can possibly be, so that in her circle, the idea is, I can't get better than this guy. Why wouldn't I share this guy? You know, social proof. I hope that helped to answer your question. Kaiser, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. My name is Haytham. Kaiser is a name of a character from a movie called Usual Suspects with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, I love that character.
So long story short, my question is, where do you draw the line with being blunt? Being direct, straightforward, and brutally honest with the parents of marriage prospects and marriage prospects themselves.
Where do you draw the line? Is this, are we talking polygyny or just in general?
In general. No, it's not even polygyny related. This is just general. Shall I give you an example to help or no?
Yeah, please, because it's very broad.
2 days ago, 2 days ago, a lady reached out to me. I'm in these WhatsApp groups. A lady reached out, said, "Oh, I'm impressed by your profile, blah, blah, blah. You know, oh, you said religious and so on." She told me about her daughter. Very few things: age, where she's from, and what she does.
Okay.
I said, "Okay, I'd like to know more. Right now, I'm at work. Please call me then." And then maybe 30 minutes later, I'm like, "Can you please tell me some information about your daughter?" And then she's like, "I need to know more information about you." She knows way more about me than I do about her daughter. So I said, "Can you please have your husband call me?" So that's when she got triggered. This is an Egyptian lady.
Okay.
She's like, when she told me about herself initially, she's like, "I'm an engineer. The father is an engineer. The daughter's an engineer. The son is studying to become engineers."
Yeah.
So she, from what I can tell, she's the man in the relationship. She wears the pants.
So it sounds like.
She got triggered because I asked literally verbatim, "Can I please have your husband call me?" And I think you know that in our culture, Arabs, it's between the guy and the father, not so much as the mom. Even though, yes, by all means, I would like you to be involved, but what more do you want from me? I already spoke to you. We got to know each other, even though it's for 5 minutes. Now it's time for the father. She said verbatim, with her chest popping out. Of course, I didn't see it. I can read it. I can see that she's going to say, "We are professional engineers here in Canada." Why would you even say that to me? Who am I speaking with? A man or a woman? You get what I'm saying? So that's why I asked, "Please, can I have your husband call me?" So did I go too far? Did I step on her toes? I think I did. But I thought she would be impressed with the fact that I'm willing to speak to the father from the start.
You know, what happened here is you've identified the situation correctly. The woman.
Say that again. I what?
You've identified the situation here properly. The woman, it sounds like she has a professional career, you know, and
I looked her up on LinkedIn. She's definitely Masters of Science and a professional engineer in Canada, which is a big deal. I don't care. Yeah. I'm not impressed.
Well, she doesn't, and that's the thing. So her and her husband are on an equal plane probably, and he probably has taken a more backseat to her. Sounds like a woman that's in her masculine. Why is she leading?
Definitely.
So she's in her masculine. So you now, when you like say, "Hey, let me talk to your husband," it's like sort of like to her, it's like challenging. You know, when we challenge each other as men sometimes, you know what I mean? And then we're
yes.
Like, So yeah, she, like you said, her chest popped out. So now she's like, "Yo, what's up, homie?" You made her mad. You challenged her, and that's something she's probably not accustomed to from her husband. In her mind, she's offended, and here comes the triggered part. She's offended because in her mind, and this is a very bold statement to make. I don't like to say it, but nobody can tell me it's not right. She's like, "Why are you trying to go to my lesser?" She's offended. You're going to someone who has less authority than her. Imagine.
Well,
So imagine this. Imagine this. I'm a supervisor where I work. Where I work at, I'm like the superintendent. I'm like, there's nobody above me in terms of like my department, right? And then I have a team below me. And then someone who's my equal, he comes to me and say, "Hey, you know what, Craig, I need some logistic stuff done." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, cool. And then he goes in order to get the clearance for that to one of my drivers. But the responsibility and the authority to make that decision on how, what, when, whatever else is mine. I'm going to be offended. Should I be? That's arguable. But the question is, you are accidentally usurping my power and going to someone beneath me. I'd be offended just out of principle. So you have to see it like that. As a woman, think of it as a woman in her masculine in the same way what runs in our subroutine as men in the background. Of course she's offended.
honestly, I think I should have just stopped communication when she told me about the entire family being entirely engineers. I should have said, "Oh," I honestly said, "MashaAllah, may Allah grant you a healthy family, blah blah blah." And I should have said, "We're not compatible then and there," because if the entire family is engineers, including the daughter and the mother, that's why honestly, Mr. Abuamerican brother, I stay away from engineers, doctors. As women, I stay away from them. Engineers, doctors, lawyers, nurses. And my mom is like, "What do you want, a retard for our child?" I'm like,
Well,
why does it have to be either or? Go ahead.
yeah, here's the thing. Even in just being an engineer on its own isn't really overtly like a big deal. What's a big deal is where you dodge the bullet clearly is you have to remember the daughter is using the mother and the father as their model of reproductive success. Well, if she's acting like this on the phone with you as a stranger, she's
The
not
mother-in-law.
yeah, if she's not showing her best side right off the start, just imagine how she is at home.
Exactly.
She knows and she's accustomed to, as they say, familiarity breeds contempt. So imagine how she is with the husband. So the daughter now looks at mom and dad as the model of reproductive success.
100%.
Wrong, being masculine man, and you're like, baby, do this, do that, whatever else, or she comes to do something goofy, she's gonna think you're insane because that's not the model she grew up observing her whole life. She's gonna think you're a nutcase. She's gonna think, "Oh, what kind of misogynist pig did I marry?" And then she's gonna find all her friends who think and act the same way she does because birds of a feather flock together. And then all of a sudden, in that circle, you're gonna be this horrible monster. You're probably just a regular nice guy treating her well, but you have boundaries.
She reached out to me at, I think, 10 a.m. And she ended communication at 11:30 a.m. So 2.5 hours, 1 hour and a half. I'm like, "Hey, you reached out to me and you ended it. I'm not the one who's losing anything here." Yeah. She was the fourth or fifth person to reach out to me in the past 6-7 days, and I reached out to one. Yeah. People are flaky with relocating. I myself, I'm on the very west coast of Canada, on an island, no less, where the Muslim community is very small. The local imam is one you may have heard of, Sheikh Yunus. He's
I think I've heard of him, yeah.
He's very blunt, direct, quote unquote, controversial because he says some unpleasant, unsavory statements that may rattle a few feathers, including the Muslim community themselves, who excommunicated him here in Victoria.
Well, unfortunately, it's easy to trigger the Muslims, unfortunately.
So, I mean,
thin skin.
If you don't mind asking about this long distance, I've looked for 1.5 years now almost, and I'm on the fence of should I even bother pursuing long distance marriage by, for example, going to Jordan in the Christmas time. I might buy a flight ticket for a month to go to Jordan for the first time since I left 17 years ago. I've never been to Jordan since I left, and my uncle's like, "Why don't you come? Pursue it. It could be a chance for you. What do you have to lose?"
I mean, I could speak on this in detail because and with authority, because I've been in a long distance marriage for roughly 4.5 years now, bro. It's not fun. I wouldn't.
But that relationship of yours is you're already, excuse me. That is another marriage, right?
Yes, that's one of my wives.
So
It's just,
is it different, even though you're
yeah,
already married with wives that live with you, even though it's another long distance?
yeah, I wouldn't advise long distance marriages, bro. Just in my
I
experience,
agree.
it's not. It's just stay away from it. In my humble estimation, I mean, it can work obviously because people have done it, but it's just the way that I like, to be around my women and the way I like my life with my women. It's been very
My
long.
mom helped set up a meeting with her own cousin. My mom's cousin is younger than I am.
Okay,
They were excited, blah, blah, blah. 3, 4, 5 days later, oh, we're not interested in long distance anymore. Okay.
it's difficult.
You guys already knew that going in. Why now? What happened?
Yeah. I mean,
So,
there might
anyways,
be again,
go ahead.
this goes back to something I was saying earlier about like who was I talking to about the pressure? This could be the chicken. This could be a pressure to just get you to take her to Canada. It's like, oh, we're not interested in long distance, aka then you're supposed to come back. I'm assuming here. I'm thinking maybe this is the attempt. Oh, and then you're supposed to come back. Oh, well, I'll bring her to Canada. You see what I mean? So it's sort of like chess. Everybody makes a move, and this is
So
you're
I go back. I want to
calculated at.
go. I want to go back to my question. Where do you draw the line with how direct you can be with people in general, specifically talking in marriage?
To be honest, it's based upon your status. That's just real. If you're running life like Andrew Tate, you can probably say whatever you want. If you're just a regular guy, you probably got to like soften the blow a little bit
I'm
if you
so
want
direct.
communication with people.
I would like to give you an example of how direct I was. This one lady said, "Oh, this girl's in Jordan." I said, "Okay, send me some pictures." Okay,
Mhm.
no problem. Here are the pictures. I said, "Stop, stop. No more pictures, please."
Okay.
She's like, "What? What is it?" I said, "I'm not interested. She's not as pretty as I said. I'm not attracted." She's like, "The picture doesn't do her justice. She's a lot prettier in real life." I said,
Yeah,
with all due
that
respect, let the guy say that, not you, not the woman. I told her myself. My mom says the same thing, and I tell my mom, "Listen, you're not the guy. I'm the guy. Let me decide who's attractive and who's not."
no, actually, yeah, yeah. You just be a savage, man. You gotta take
Honestly,
it easy.
why? Oh, I know, and so so beautiful. Blah blah. Who's saying the woman's saying it? No, I'm sorry. You don't. Women
You
don't
know,
know what men
you
find
gotta you
attractive.
gotta use female speak on them. You gotta use female speak on them. And women
How?
got
I'm not
some.
a female. I'm not a
I
woman. I
know,
don't know.
but you can take lessons from them, and it's very good. You got to say stuff like like they would say, "Oh yeah, I'm sure she'll make somebody happy," but she's just
What?
pretty.
What?
I'm sure she'll make someone happy. You gotta say stuff like that. Just really break the fall. They'll get it. Women get it. Yeah, especially when speaking on like okay, I guess we could get subjective here. Some topics you can be brutally honest with. Other things when you start talking about like the beauty of a woman or whatnot, just in general, because it's so very important to them, you want to take it easy. So you have to actually look at the topic you're speaking about. If you want to talk about like a woman who's not so beautiful and they're sending you pictures, you might want to like break it. Like okay, Jazakallah khair, but I was looking for someone. I had different expectations. For my partner and then that's basically ruling them out. If they try and convince you, just you can just stay on your path of like,
I
yeah,
said more of a gentle way of.
yeah. Other stuff, be brutal as be brutal. Like when they start coming at you about money, how much you make, and all that type of stuff. I'm pretty brutal in terms of like rejecting. Like you don't need to know that type of stuff. So I would say it's subjective depending on what you're discussing. It's always, but there's never any harm in being a gentleman. There's never any harm in being like polite. You know, um, but some things it's like just the nature of the question. And this is why I used finances. It's just the nature of the question is rude, and so therefore it warrants like a very snappy response at the same time.
It's
In
an
my
understandable question, wouldn't you say? It's a
in terms of
reasonable thing to ask, but when it comes down to specifics, like, oh, how much you make a month? Okay, then that's where I draw the line. You know what
yeah,
kind of job I work. I'm an engineer, electrical engineer.
yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, generally, exactly. It's like, hey, you know what? I have a good life. I can take care
I,
of
I,
somebody else.
I can go into specifics into what I can afford, but I'm not
Yeah,
gonna just throw out numbers. I can just say I can afford a one-bedroom apartment for rent. You don't have to contribute a penny, okay? And this, I would love to continue talking, but I don't know if there are other guests waiting for the call.
no, there's nobody right now. But my jujitsu coach said something really well, and it was in specific about this topic. He says, "I hate this question." He says because it's like, what do you expect for an answer? He's like, if I don't make enough, he says, this is what I asked them. He says, I answered her question with a question. He's like, why? If I don't make enough, or what you think is enough, are you going to make up the difference for me? He's like, so no, you're not. He's like, so ask me that question is kind of rude. It's kind of pointless. And if I make a whole lot, what then? He's like, so no matter what, he's like, your question seems a bit dodgy because if I make a whole lot, you're going to be all happy and that's going to make me feel bad. And if I don't make enough and you don't like that, it's going to make me feel bad. He's like, so no matter how I answer this question, for me, it doesn't feel good. He's like, it makes me look at you in a bad way.
It's a transactional thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. Honestly,
very raw transactional in regards to your utility as a man. And we understand the burden of performance is on men, but it's like, geez, dude, can we just like, excuse me, not geez, I gotta drop
don't say that,
man. It's like, yo, what are you? Ouch, dang, okay.
When I use the word transaction when it comes to marriage, people think I'm some nutcase. Like, what the heck did you just say? Transaction. I'm like, to be honest, let's be frank here. It's a contract. You're signing the dotted line. It's a transaction.
And I think these actual transactional deals, in terms of marriages, they're not actually as bad as people make them out to be. If
I agree.
I did a one-to-one consultation actually with a non-Muslim girl on Friday, and this was so it was like really weird. And I was saying, it's like, being transactional in a relationship isn't as bad as it sounds. It's like, because where do problems start in a relationship? It comes from failed expectations. So I'm like, listen, if everybody's expectations and understandings are out in the open and clear, I'm going to get this, you're going to get that. It's like, well, then where do your failed expectations come in? Because then it's just a matter of like, just meet your expectations. And so then you can adjust the little minors and the backs and forths here and there, of the details of your relationship. But really, these transactional relationships, I think they're pretty good because then there's expectations on the line. You have the expectation you're going to cook, you're going to clean, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And you have the expectation of me that I'm going to do this, and this. And then everybody's happy because there's no failed expectations if everybody actually does what they said they were going to do.
So to this cooking thing, they say, oh, we're not obligated, but you are obligated to obey. And if I say cook, is that haram? No, it's not. Then you have to cook.
I don't want to hear it.
But then they're so you expect me to do jumping jacks upon command? No, I'm not gonna say something silly like that. What the heck is that gonna jumping jacks gonna do for me? But maybe get you in shape.
Here's the thing, though, and I don't know if you saw my video. There was a few people that got mad, but really, it's like that's a battle women don't want to start, because when we look at the Book of the Sunnah and we look at their interpretations of the four imams, a man is not obligated to do anything except food, shelter, and clothing within reason. So it's like it was even mentioned in the book, and I read it. You can find this video on my channel. It's from Fatwa Islamiyah.
About the medicine thing?
Huh?
Is it about the medicine thing?
Yes, exactly. And that's how far it goes. It's like, come on, let's not start this game. Okay, you're going to do your absolute minimum. I do my absolute minimum. And it's like, yo, when you have appendicitis, what are we doing here? How are we, they want you to live with them in a good way, but they don't want to live with you in a good way.
So what do you do?
When they start this type of stuff, for me, that's an immediate, like, okay, I'm done, because it's like, okay, well, if this is what we're going to do, you're not
when you say clothing, but by all means, clothing, sure, I'll get you clothing, but you're already bringing the wardrobe from your parents' home. How much more clothing do you need? Yeah. Two new pieces of clothes a year? That's fine, no problem. Two is not an issue. I'll get you 3. How about that? 3 per year. What are you going to go with the old stuff?
It's just a bad way, It's not living with people in the best way. When we read and we read and comprehend how marriage is supposed to be from the Quran and from the Sunnah. It's like it's the antithesis. They're actually doing the opposite. You're supposed to live with each other in tranquility and goodness and whatever else, and they just like, yo, yeah. You're like, wow, like, ew. We got a brother in the background, inshallah.
Okay, I'll get off then. Thank you very much. That was a pleasure talking to you, sir. Thank you. So, by the way, I bought your book maybe a few weeks ago. I've only read maybe the first couple pages. Next week, inshallah, I'm gonna take a break from work, in which I will have more time to be able to read it. So, shout out to you. Everybody, go get that book. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
And Ahmed left the room. Nice, Ahmed. The brother. Okay, so we didn't have to cut you. Oh, there he is.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi. I was like, hey, this dude just bounced on me. I was like, what the heck happened?
Good. Sorry. Is my internet connection good?
Yeah, you sound, bro.
Okay. Sorry, it's laggy for me. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I'm always good. Alhamdulillah, barakallahu feek. How about yourself?
Good. I could be better, but I guess I'm alhamdulillah, right?
Alhamdulillah.
Uh, so, do we just ask you anything that we want to?
Yeah, as long as it's not too crazy.
No, it's not crazy. So like, okay, so I just turned 32 this summer.
Okay.
I've been trying to work on my. Sorry, yeah. I've been trying to work on my martial arts and everything. It's been like
Okay.
a year and a half. I've been doing that, but like my money,
Mm-hmm.
like financially, I'm like going down, going down
Oh,
fast.
okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. I started doing delivery when the coronavirus hit,
Yeah,
and like
you just dropped, bro. Ahmed? Ahmed's having some technical difficulties. We'll wait for him to come back a little bit. Money. I've been saying this in my men's community. It's like, there's several rooms where we talk about different topics. And the room with the most chatter in it is the room about women. It's like, dudes, yo, wallahi, if you have a woman problem, we have discussed it in that room. From the problem to theoretics to solutions, we have discussed it, bro. We have such a massive compendium of just knowledge on dealing with women in relationships that I don't even know what we talk about in there anymore. Now it's just like, basically it's verbal masturbation at this point because there's nothing we haven't covered. Allah knows best. I mean, it has to be some real fringe topic that like only affects non-Muslims for us to have, not discussed it. And even then we probably did some theoretics on it, without the solutions because we wouldn't experience it. So, and I did a little voice rant on there. Good, I don't know, 7-minute voice rant, basically just telling brothers like, yo, the women are the easy part. It's the money that we need to figure out. Getting this religion together and getting the money together. And I've been trying to fix your connection. I'm gonna go ahead and drop you, bro. And getting this money together and getting this, getting this the religion together, because everything else is like easy. And I'll tell you why women are the easy part, because women want men too. It's not hard to get something that wants to be got. It's not hard to get something that wants you too. The problem is a lot of brothers are trying to get women that don't want them. And so that's why they're trying to learn game. They're trying to learn, where do I find the women, this, that, the other. It's like, I'm not saying that you just sit back in your house and a woman's going to fall out of the sama. She's going to fall out of the sky. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is like, there's a woman out there that wants you, So that's the easy part. You just got to make yourself like your presence known in enough places that you become accessible to these women. And you got to have your eyes open because women are really bad at game. And so you have to be able to. Ahmed, welcome back.
sorry, brother. I'm on my bicycle and I'm like I'm supposed to be working, but I stopped. So I can get your advice. Sorry about that.
Okay, so Ahmed, you say your money's going down. You're doing delivery, and that's all you're doing right now?
Yes, sir. I don't know what else to do.
What have you been to university or anything? You studied whatever trades?
Yeah. I dropped out of school, but I used to work in restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Another problem is like if I start a restaurant job, it's gonna take
Yeah.
time away from my martial arts, my Muay Thai that I'm doing.
Okay.
Which
Let me
I
ask you something.
yeah.
When you say it takes away from your Muay Thai, is your Muay Thai eventually going to pay for something for you? You're going to open a school or?
No, but it helps me. I feel like my whole life I didn't stick to something and grow in it, and I
Yeah.
feel like I'm growing a little bit in Muay Thai. And if I quit now, I feel like I'm just gonna go back to the same path where I start something, then I stopped, then I started, then I
Okay.
stopped.
Are you going to be a pro fighter?
Allahu alam, but I'm gonna keep trying. I'll just cross that bridge when I get there. Is that a good answer?
Let me ask you,
Or
how many days a week are you training?
I train every day, so 6 days a week.
Okay. Mashallah. And you're how old? 30?
It's good for my mental health too, because New York City is really stressful. A lot of people here are rude and whatnot.
Mhm.
So it's
Bro,
like it's really good to like get my negative
what you-
energy out.
you're 32?
Sorry? Yes,
How old are
sir.
you?
I'm late. I know I'm late. I'm 32. I'm late. I'm really late.
Okay, yeah. Listen, bro, you gotta reduce the days. If you're doing every day as a week, drop it down to about like 4 days. I know you don't want to hear that, but the reality is you need to get your money right.
Okay.
You're 32. You need to find what is going to work for you
Yeah.
in terms of making money, and it's going to be solid money. I don't think delivery. I don't know how delivery pays. I
Yeah.
hear it's good in London. I don't know how it is in New York. Um, but right now, your
Yeah.
priorities are like kind of twisted. You're investing a lot. You're investing a lot of time and energy into something that's not paying,
Yeah.
but you have to pay for. You see what I'm saying? So you
Yeah.
have to pay.
Yeah.
And not only that, you're investing mental and physical capital into this effort. You need to like
Yeah.
retool that and come back. You need to. I'm not saying stop. Don't stop.
Yeah.
But you need to like redirect some of that mental capacity, some of that physical capacity into actual money making, and finding ways to increase your income. Because I mean, I think delivery has its limits. You know,
Yeah.
there's only so much you can do in terms of delivery. You know,
Yeah. Yes, sir.
in terms of money making. There's no promotion that I can think of
I
where
got
it's
you.
like, that I don't know, maybe you know, but it's like if you're making a certain amount per hour, they're like, hey, you're an awesome delivery guy. Here's more per hour, to where it turns into like a six-figure salary. You need to find that,
Yeah.
and
Sorry, you
you're
cut
not
off a little
going to
bit.
find Muay Thai unless you're training to open a school or you're training to become an actual pro fighter that makes good money. You're investing
Yeah.
literally finances and effort and energy into something that doesn't have a payout. Not in 1 year, not in
Right.
5 years.
My
You see what
pro.
I mean?
Yeah. One of my
So
problems is like if I do something, I'm gonna go all the way, like extreme wise. So if I start something, I'm gonna go all the way with it. That's one of my problems. I think I
if
have
you
to.
keep going, just reduce it. You have to redirect some of that. So like,
Okay.
let's say during the week, make that your days where it's like you reduce your wait, let me think how I want to say it. Weekends delivery is going to be good. People are at home, so
Yeah.
you don't want to cut your weekend deliveries. So that's the days you want to cut your Muay Thai,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
cut your Muay Thai during the week or something. I'm not telling you to stop, not at all. I
Yeah.
love combat sports. Once you pop out, it's hard to pop back in. I've had like a several
Yeah.
year dropout. But definitely start redirecting some of that energy and that effort and that physical and mental capital into like actually making sure you are progressing financially in life also. Because let me tell you something, I dropped the ball myself, and alhamdulillah, I made like a huge roaring comeback later. But really where I'm at now, I could have probably been at your age right now, and it hurts mentally. It hurts here. It's right here. So you don't want to have those thoughts later on, like, man, why did I, you don't want to have those thoughts, and alhamdulillah, I came full circle, but it's like, it's kind of like, eesh. Don't do that to yourself, man.
Yes, sir.
Reinvest that energy right now. I mean, you're 32. Yeah, you got to
Yes.
push because 32 now you're supposed to be like at apex/peak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I'm a late bloomer.
yeah, well, yeah, but
Yeah.
life is unforgiving to us as men. Nobody's gonna come and save us. We're not gonna marry some rich lady. Women can like make these mistakes and find some rich guy, and
Yeah.
put that feminine charm on them. We don't have like that rescue net in general, and even that's starting to disappear with the understanding that to men nowadays that a new girl turns 18 every day. So even nowadays that's like really
Yeah.
falling apart for women. You really
Yeah.
want to like make sure you get that energy that you're investing in one place into another that's going to have a payout.
Okay. Inshallah.
Don't stop training, but
No. No.
definitely like maybe redirect. If you're doing like 7 days a week, you're training every single day, dude. That's
Yeah.
a pro fighter, like that's pro fighter stuff right there.
No, maybe I can do it like twice in one day because they have like 2-3 classes like every day. So maybe I can take like 2-3 days off and just train like, 2 times a day in one day instead of
You could do that, but also on those, since you're trained 2 times a day and that'll be in the split sessions, make
yeah.
sure in between then you're researching something also. Don't leave yourself any free time. Research like, okay, I'm doing this. What can I do? You're in the delivery service. There has to be something that delivery drivers need. Try and find it and sell it to them, or supply it to them. I don't know what it could be, but start thinking along those lines. Do these guys have accidents a lot? Can I get into gear protection or whatever else? Make some sort of delivery guy crash pants. Not nothing fancy, but knee pads, or I don't know, dude. I'm just throwing random just stuff out there. It doesn't have to
I
be
know.
that.
I tried putting up flyers like for older people. I tried putting up flyers saying I can do like grocery deliveries for them, but nobody called me back. I put up like 10 flyers. Nobody called me.
Well, 10 flyers, yeah. But that's a good idea. That's a very good idea. But see,
Yeah.
you got to also look at your approach. This is where you try and find somebody who knows copywriting, somebody who knows sales pitches, whatever else. Where can you put that online? Not only old people, there's just lazy bum young people nowadays. So expand it, start do stuff like that's a good idea right there. So yeah, that's not bad. And then, but think about the future. Especially in terms of finances, because you don't want to be like a 65-year-old delivery driver. It's not.
No, hell no.
Where's it gonna go?
No, this is just out of necessity. I'm like I want to be an entrepreneur, but it's just that's like the hardest profession, right? For me,
No,
from my
I don't
point
think
of
it's the
view.
hardest, but I mean, well, it's hard for sure. But that's any career field. There's gonna be a point where it's like it's just difficult to do until you get good at it. It's just the thing is in some career fields that get good at it is quicker than others. You know what I mean? So like if you're a street sweeper, it doesn't take long to get good at it. But if you're a doctor, it takes a long time to get good at it. So pick your poison.
Yes, sir.
I prefer something strong because if it doesn't kill you, it makes you really strong. You know what I mean? But that means you're gonna have to suffer. It's hard. I don't know if you ever swallowed any poison, but the stronger the poison, the more you suffer. But then later on, if you drink it again, it's like okay, I've been through this. This is the hard work. This is the I can do it. I can do it easy now.
Yeah.
You're suffering.
I've been eating like a lot some more beef liver. Grass finished beef liver is like one of the most nutritious foods. So
Bro,
and that the flavor is like really bad.
Okay, mashallah. And this is an eye opener record too. Is that stuff sounds expensive?
It's only like $8 a pound, but
all right. I'm just saying, man. Also think about the type of stuff. Does it have to be grass fed? Get you some beef, eat beef liver. I don't know. I'm just saying, it's like all the stuff ties together in terms of like all the financial decisions you make. Like I was married to a sister for a very short time, and she apparently she made pretty good money. Plus, she had a side business that was definitely making her good money, and she was like, "Oh, I'm always broke." This girl was buying like milk like this big for like $7. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
It's like you buy a 16-ounce can of milk for $7. No wonder you're broke. It's like got a life full of stuff like that.
No, in America,
think about stuff like that too.
I feel you, but in America, you sound. I think you're American too, but in America, like normally they feed cows genetically modified corn. So I don't want to put that in my body because it's gonna mess me up when I go to practice and if I spar or anything like that, it's gonna mess me up. So I have to buy things that are healthier so my body can stay loose and active during my session.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying don't buy bad food, but I'm just saying it's like if there's an option, less expensive, but not bad for you, then take it.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ahmed.
Thank you, sir.
Figure it out, man.
Inshallah. You guys pray for me, everybody in the chat, and you too, if you can, brother. Please.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Germany is looking like a hot mess. Are you leaving ASAP? I'm not leaving ASAP, but it is looking like a hot mess. Things are getting ugly quick. It's looking ugly really quick. Mustafa says, I'm on my purpose to become a doctor, but in order to support myself, I work 50 hours a week, minimum. No friends or wife. I'm 30 years old. I mean, this is literally the conversation we just had with Ahmed. It's like you're on your grind. Just make sure the grind has an end, because you're not just supposed to grind yourself to death, I think this is about social something. What was it you had the question about? It was about social something you asked about with social isolation. I mean, if you're studying and you're working, I'm not really sure why you'd be socially isolated. You should be around people. Just take the time to actually like go out and meet people and, interact with the people that you're around in university and at work, in a permissible way, of course. It sounds like more like social awkwardness. You're like so focused on whatever it is you're doing. I don't know, I might be wrong, that the idea of actually speaking to people, getting out and actually meeting people might seem a bit awkward because it's outside of your field of what you're doing, outside of your field of expertise, which is studying and working. Because, talking to people is not easy. It's not something that's simple. People get anxiety, approach anxiety. And when I say approach anxiety, I'm not talking about women, just in general, just talking to people. So maybe that's just something you need to work on. I don't see why in your situation as a student and someone who's working 50 hours a week should have any sort of like social isolation issues. You should be like dealing with people around you on a daily basis. Doesn't mean you got to hang out with them. I work with people. I don't hang out with them. Nice enough people. There's nothing wrong with them. I prefer at 50 social isolation. It's going to flip, bro. You don't want to be alone. I'd say appreciate it. You get around people now, it's just like, weirdo. So I don't know. You should definitely have a social circle. It doesn't have to even be like a deep interpersonal connection. Just people you can talk to at work and at school. And through that, you should find people that you can, like just link with and vibe with, inshallah. Thoughts on the hijab protest situation in Iran? A lot of feminist Muslim sisters have been borderline Islamophobic on Twitter. I don't know what the heck they're on about. I mean, it's like it's known that that hijab is part of the religion. It's an obligation for women. What are you protesting exactly? I don't understand it. I mean, think about that. Okay, what are you gonna start protesting next? The salah, the prayer? Yeah, what are we talking about here? When I look at this stuff, I'm just like, what are you on about? You weirdos. You know what it is? It's a bunch of Muslims who don't want Islam. How do you protest about something that is fard, something that is an obligation upon you? What? Okay, just say you're a fast. Just say you're like, someone who's disobedient, hates the commands of Allah and go. Just why you, what? And then it's like they're looking for validation from the non-Muslims for this. It's like, really? So you're gonna go away from the commands of Allah to those who disbelieve in Allah and seek their validation on like the disobedience of Allah? And I don't know, man. I just look at it, it's mind vexing. It's just insane, bro. And then you got these sisters on Twitter like defending that stuff. It's like, are you people nuts? Do you not know that kufr, disbelief, is just a word? It can be just a word. You can throw yourself out of religion. It's just like, be careful. It's an obligation from Allah. Shut up. I don't care how you feel about it, ladies. Shut up. This is a matter of obligation, a command from Allah and His Messenger. Leave it alone. Bro, I don't know what's wrong with these people. They burning hijabs in the street. What do you? Allah commanded you to wear it. I'm going to burn it. Here's my protest. Yeah. What? Who are you disobeying? Who are you defying? Sure, the government enforces it, but whose command is it? You know what this makes you think? This makes you understand that a lot of people, they don't really believe like they say they do. And I'm not trying to make that clear. Don't, by no intention do I want to, but it's just like when you look at them and, you see these sisters without their hijabs on and they say very practicing. You see this on these matrimonial apps. Very practicing, but doesn't wear hijab. They don't believe like they say they do. And then two, it's like intelligence is not as widespread as you like to think it is. Because just basic logic and reason would make you understand it's like, okay, I don't like the government. Fair. They don't like their government. That's your business, whatever else. They don't like their business. They don't like the government. Fine. But it's like, if I defy this law of the government, then I'm by default defying the command of Allah. Okay, I don't like the government. The government has a rule that is actually a command of Allah. It's so why would I just be, well, you know what? I just don't like you guys. I just want to defy you. Find something else to defy them on. Doesn't have to be hijab. Doesn't have to be something that's fard. So you can't be a very intelligent person and not come together with this. And if you are an intelligent person and connect these two and understand how these two are connected, then this goes back to my first point. You don't really believe like you say you do. It's inescapable, those two things. They're either very stupid or they don't believe like they say they do. Or maybe both. Inescapable circle. Doesn't even have to be a trifecta. You can't escape those two. Anybody who thinks that you can escape my 2 points there, let me know in the comment section. The real question is, knowing women's savage nature both in and out of the bedroom, how can brothers recognize the signs and how can they use them to their advantage? Why not get morally hung up? I can't say I understand the question, bro, because here's the thing. Marlon. How do you use it to your advantage? I mean, it's kind of like this goes back to what I was saying to the other guy. It's like women being the easiest part. Guys are spending so much energy chasing women that women don't spend energy chasing men. Guys want women that want like reciprocal attraction and mutuality, right? It's like, man, I want her and I want her to want me. And it's true. That's the only way you should have it. You should really want your woman should desire you in the way that you desire her. And yes, that does exist, right? So when you have this understanding that there are women that actually want me, life becomes easier. That is your advantage. That understanding. When I speak to a woman that I've matched with on an application, I talk to her like she wants me. I know she wants me. If she didn't want me, somewhere on some level, even if it's just my attention, somewhere along the line, she wants something from me because she finds me attractive enough to like want it from me, be it my attention, even if she doesn't want marriage. I understand she wants something from me. So I talk to her like that. Why? She matched with me. You know how many women I haven't matched with on applications? They don't want anything from me. They're not attracted to me. So those women who I do match with, she wants something. Because women want us in the same way we want them. It's just you got to find that woman. And if you seem like you're pushing hard, and I'm not talking about being a pervert with sisters, but I'm just saying, you know, if she thinks you're pushing hard, then you know what? She's not really attracted to you like you are to her. So that's your advantage. It helps you just filter out these women mad fast. And when you find that woman that wants you and she sticks around, then you go into your vetting. But the first thing you want to do is pre-selection. Pre-selection is the same thing you got. You see that nasty, you know, overweight sister with the mole on her chin, you know, that's got 5 hairs sticking out of it. Thick hairs. And you got like the svelte, you know, super fine one. You're going to be like, what? Pre-selection. Svelte, super fine sister. Mole chin sister, you're going to just cut her out, right? Women are the same way, just with their own little mental pre-selection thing that they got going on. I'm not a woman, so I can't tell you what it is, but it's there. It's real. That's your advantage.
I didn't quite catch that.
Shut up, China.
Could you please repeat it?
See, your China said you didn't catch that. Could you please repeat it? I need to spy you some more. So, you know, once you have that down, it's like the rest of the stuff with the bedroom, all this stuff, now it's just a matter of just finding boundaries or breaking them, if that's your thing. About Turkish laws against polygyny. Are you talking about? In China? Yes, I just threw a cell phone. About Turkish laws against polygyny. Are you talking about civil marriage? I thought as a secular state, people were free to do multiple nikah in Turkey without involving the state. Allahu Ta'ala, I actually don't know details like that. So you might be right. But my understanding is it's like, in order to get visas for these wives, you do need to have a civil marriage, and multiple civil marriages are not permitted in the Turkish state. In my opinion, you should have established polygyny before your first kid. If you make it a woman fall in love as a monogamous man, she can absolutely fall out of love if you all of a sudden become polygynous. I don't know. I mean, it's a fair point to maybe try it before you become a parent. But I don't think that matters, to be honest. I was with a girl, what's her name? Becky, for like 4 years. And then I married Ling Ling. And Becky was like, she'd been trying to get pregnant for a while. She's like, don't have a kid with her before you have a kid with me. Ling Ling got pregnant immediately, and she was mad. She was upset. So I don't think it makes a difference. There's always going to be some form of jealousy because women are women. So I don't know if that, if that matters, to be honest. Barakallahu feek. That's what I'm trying to do, bro. I try, inshallah. Ooh, a lot of comments here. How to join? I dropped the link earlier in the chat. This is good advice. The guy who coded my website, he was struggling for a while, and we were making some money together with Abuamerican. He still makes money, but he was coding, and his skill set in coding transferred over very well to cryptocurrency. That brother is now, if I'm not mistaken, he's over 200,000 a year. He went from nothing to 200,000 a year in less than 2 years. So coding, it pays. It pays very well. There's nowhere you can work like in 2 years and go from no pay to 200,000 plus. There's nowhere you can work in a career, learn coding. He just jumped around and worked for a few cryptocurrency companies. Now he's working for, what are these guys called? I think it's MetaMask now, if I'm not mistaken. He's working for MetaMask. Abuamerican, can I interview for my podcast? Yeah, sure. Inshallah. Hit me up on Twitter or Instagram, inshallah, and we can talk there. I got an interview next week on a podcast with a doctor. I'm not really sure if that's live or not. I don't know. Anyway, if it's live, I'll let your brothers know. Don't forget, anybody in London, UK, let me announce this again. It is in the description of this video. Halal Bad Boys meet and greet me, Mehdi Tijani, and Muhammad Malik, aka Finding Muhammad. Eat and greet. There's limited places. Make sure you sign up because we can't let more people in because there's simply not enough space in the venue. So with the cost that you pay, your food is paid for, all that type of stuff, go and check it out. Description is in the video, or excuse me, the link is in the video description. How do I approach Muslim women with scarf, no hair showing, at my university for marriage? And is it worth to use marriage sites? I'm not a fan of marriage sites, even though, I started one. I'm not a fan of them. Approaching sisters directly. I mean, I've done it in London. It's just, don't be a dork and don't be a creep. I mean, it's pretty obvious, I tend to stay straight and to the point when I do, direct approaches. I kick a little cocky, funny game, just loosen everything up because sisters are automatic. Sisters have their guards up higher than anybody else, so they tend to put on, as they call it in game theory, the bitch shield. They put it up extra high and extra hard. And so you got to break through that, AKA break the ice. And then once they're calm and they're cool and whatever, say, hey, obviously didn't stop you to crack jokes or whatever else, I thought you were attractive, this, that, the other. And if you're not married, you're not, said to be married, I want to talk to your daddy, So, I mean, because I'm just good on the fly with just being funny and loose and relaxed, it really worked well for me. So if you're not really good at that, I wouldn't advise it. But, for me, I'd keep those interactions to maximum like 7 to 10 minutes, that's a maximum. If I couldn't break through within that short amount of time, then I would, I'd keep it pushing. Like when I was in Qatar one time, I stopped the Sudanese sister, and man, it was like rough because it was in a mall. It was really crowded, and there was a lot of people around. She started like making a scene. She's like, "What do you want? What do you want?" I was like, "Hey!" I said, "Chill out with the attitude. You look way too cute to be acting all like tough and mean. So you ain't scaring nobody." Bro, I was sweating bullets, no joke. She almost had me. She almost punked me. I ain't even lying. She almost punked me. I was like, "Hey," I said, "Chill out, man." I like put an attitude on. I was like, "You way too cute to be acting like you tough. You don't scare nobody, looking all fine and stuff." And she like just instantly just like turned into a puddle. She was like, I got her number, but it didn't work out. I mean her number. I mean her dad's number. Her dad didn't like non-Sudanese guys. So, it's possible. Just try and, be cool with it. And don't tell sisters like, they're cute or whatever else. She just threw me off. So I was like, go for the kill. Have you ever been in a rut, and how did you come out of it? Bro, I've been in so many ruts in my life. I'm surprised. I still think I'm in one. I don't think that's just all I know, man. It's like, bro, I was like literally like not even joking. I was couch surfing. I think I was like, how old was I when I was couch surfing? 38. I was like 38 and I was couch surfing, bro. I like got hit so hard, that I ended up like just living between people's houses. So, I've been in situations, I believe firmly that if a lot of dudes have been in the situations I've been in, they would have killed themselves. They would have literally just, self-deleted. So I just don't have this quitter mentality. I've never quit. I've never been a person who thought that quitting was an option, so same thing with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I got in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I have a permanent arm and shoulder injury because when I started, I was just like, I refused to lose a fight. I was getting beat up and just losing fights left and right. So I was like, okay, these guys got something different. This jiu-jitsu stuff ain't something I know. I got my brown belt in 4 years. It's unheard of. It's so rare. Look how many people, you can Google how many people got their brown belts in like 4.5 years. I did it. Because I was like, I'm not gonna let this just like defeat me. So I don't know, man. It's just a mindset. Like I'm not gonna fail. I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna give up. And it's just like you got to be more hard-headed, more stubborn, and smarter than the problems you're facing. You can't always just ram your head through the wall with problems. Sometimes you got to be smarter. So you got to pick your tactic. You got to look at your enemy, which is your problem, and you got to pick the tactic you're gonna like say, yeah, I'm gonna run this over. And other stuff you're like, okay, this one's gonna like ruin me if I come running at it. It's gonna smack me like a fly swatter on a fly, and I'm the fly. So I got to be smarter. So but giving up has never been an option. Stop, think, don't go backwards. Sometimes go backwards, because sometimes you go down a path and it's wrong, you got to come back around the wall. Sometimes you got to do that. But general, it's like never stop. That's all, man. It's not rocket science. It's not complicated. I've never been a person who believed that quitting was the solution, to solving a problem. And yes, there are things that you don't need to continue doing because it's like, okay, this is not going to work. But just because you stop that thing doesn't mean you stop in your progression. And I think that's where a lot of people get confused because they put so much energy. It's like the brother I was talking to, he's bent on the Muay Thai. But okay, it's like, where is it going? And don't stop, enjoy it, keep on doing it. But you need to classify that in your life. This is something that's taken up a major part of your life. But it's not really bringing you anywhere. And so you need to redirect that, don't stop. But it's like, okay, I need to claw this back and look at the reality. And that's problems in general. It's a matter of like, taking yourself out of the problem and looking at it and saying, okay, I need to redirect. Should you always say you're open to polygyny or wouldn't rule it out if the topic is brought up? Yes. In the premarital stage, even if you don't particularly intend to retain competition anxiety. You know what? No, you don't have to say it like that. Just say, hey, if you want to just leave it like that, like to where there's like the mentality of, you know, competition anxiety, just say, hey, you know what, I'm not accepting anything that's going to, I'm not accepting any limits that Allah didn't put on me. Just say it like that. So if they say, hey, what do you think polygyny? It's like, if Allah allowed something, then I'm not going to allow a person to disallow it to me. What does that mean? I mean, it just means like I don't have any particular plans right now in my mind that I can think of now or in the foreseeable future to take another wife. But, you know, if Allah sends someone's cross my path, you know, they need help, you know, see, in this, you got to play smart. And I'm not saying be deceptive, but just, you know, just use a something that they can wrap their mind around that is more palpable to them. So, you know, if someone comes along and they need some help, you know, and I need to take care of somebody, you know, or somebody needs to be taken care of, you know, why wouldn't I marry him, you know, to help, you know, help the ummah. You see what I mean? So you leave that door open for yourself. Hip Hop Universe. How can you join? And this is gonna, Hip Hop Universe is gonna make me regret this, guarantee you. Yeah. Whether you see him for the first time, you see him for 100 times, the approach is the same, really. I mean, when I'm talking about approaches in London and in a shopping mall, those were cold approaches. I never seen those people before. So, yeah. Thanks, man. I try. I was getting right to this person shut, burning out, chilling. Okay, yeah, fair enough. That's a solution. You know, back out. My good man, I am at Abuamerican everywhere. You go there at Abuamerican, tends to be me. Do you know where I can find Salafi Indonesian / Malaysian women? No, I do not. I don't think there are many. You know, these two countries tend to have like a lot of Sufis and a lot of Takfiri jihadis. You know, so there's really Salafis. They're sort of like, you know, just they're not really. It's not a country. These are not countries that are known for Salafiyah. So I think if you're gonna have Salafiyah there, you're gonna have to teach her. You're gonna have to find a woman and teach her. You know, yeah. I'm a non-Muslim with one fiance already who is single mother already. I'm looking to add more women. Do you believe it a good idea to bring in more women who have children? That's a tough one. I don't speak out against single mothers because there's no Islamic precedence to do so. The non-Muslims in the red pill circles, they do this. They really vilify single mothers. I actually have, I could say probably the best wives I've had are single mothers. Ling Ling is she was a single mother when I married her. Very good woman, alhamdulillah. I recently married a Russian sister. She's a single mother and excellent wife. I also have a wife that's not a single mother, you know. So for me, I'm not too hard on the topic, you know what I mean? I don't think you should be playing dad, that's for sure. I will say this, if you do marry a single mother, it's not your obligation to act like you're their father. It's not your obligation to act like a father figure. It is their obligation to listen to your authority in your house that you take care of. If you're in her house, then khalas, man, it's her rules, man, it's her house. But if they're staying with you in your house, under your roof, then it is their obligation to obey you. It is the obligation, in my opinion. I'm not saying, when I say obligation, I'm not saying a religious obligation. It is her obligation to give you the authority to speak to her children and have authority over them and tell them what they can and can't do. And if you can't get her to agree to that, or if she won't agree to that, then you have no business messing with that woman, because it's just going to make your life hell. You're going to have a bunch of kids and women who do not respect your authority, but expect you to have all the responsibilities. How does that work? And this, unfortunately, is the situation that you find a lot of single mothers bring. They bring this mentality that you're going to defer to her children because you want her. You see? And so they set up these weird dynamics to where basically the child has more authority in the house than you do, you know. And so, you know, if she's not willing to defer to you in all of these affairs, as long as you're not abusive in any way, shape, or form towards those children, but you are, and when I say abusive, I'm not saying discipline is abuse. These are very different things. You should be able to discipline those children if they're in your house and they're living under your responsibility. Then you should have authority that includes discipline if they are disobedient, you know. So it's very subjective. Every woman's going to be different. Every woman's going to respond differently, you know. If you got a woman and she's like, basically it's like she's your woman, but she's like a side chick, you know what I mean? Oh, you know, go to her house, them kids start acting crazy, just walk out the door. Like, all right, you know what? When these kids learn how to act, I'll be back. We'll try again the day after tomorrow. I'm gonna go chill with another girl. She'll either get those kids in line or the relationship's gonna fall apart. And for you, what's the loss? Because you can throw a rock and hit 80 single mothers nowadays. You know what I mean? So either she get it together or she won't. And she just have another guy. She'll just have this constant rotation of guys coming in and out of her life until she figures out, you know, I need to get my stuff together. My life is not together because I don't have these kids together. And if I can't get these kids together, can I find a man who's high enough, you know, in value to actually look my direction, you know, take me on board and then actually help me get these kids together while not being a father figure? You see, because if a child has a father, a child has a father. It's just, you know, and that's not, you know, it is what it is. You can't play dad to someone who has a dad. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Mohammed Gabballah with $5 super chat. Barakallah feet. Thoughts on going down on one's spouse? I just mentioned this earlier. It's like talking about specifics. This is a specific. I'm trying to think how to answer this as smoothly as possible, as clearly as possible, without going into too much details. Everyone should be able to, like, you know, practice their sexual proclivities freely without any as long as it's permissible, and as far as I understand it's permissible, they should be able to practice their proclivities, their favorite stuff, you know, without any sort of judgment. Why does it matter? That's more of the realistic question. It's like, why does it matter? I don't care what Ahmed or Khalid or Muhammad is doing in his bedroom. If he goes down on his girl, doesn't go down on his girl. If he's a solid dude, he's a solid dude. As long as he ain't doing no freaky gay stuff with his girl or whatever else, you know. It's like, and even then, I don't want to know about it. You know, I don't want to know if he's going down on his girl's going down on him. All that stuff is a bit weird. You know what I mean? This is like a conversation. It's kind of like, is it permissible? As far as I understand, it is. So why does it matter? You know what I mean? I don't think it's. I don't assign in my mind any sort of, like, you know, masculinity, lack of masculinity to this particular thing. These are particular acts that people do in their homes and in their houses. Let them have it, man. If he comes out acting like a wuss, he's a wuss. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if he eats hoo-ha or if he doesn't eat hoo-ha. It's like, that dude right there, man, he's soft as hot butter. You're this right here, whether you do it or not. And there's some dudes out there, they're stone cold killers, and guess what they do? They go down on their girls. So I don't think it's that serious, if you know what I mean. Allahu Ta'ala. What's good? Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's good, bro?
So, I mean, I don't really have a question. I just gotta ask, bro. Like, where do you find these women from? Like, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Pakistani, right? And I struggle with marrying our own woman. Like, the fathers literally reject me because of the city I'm from. And you're here, mashallah, Abuamerican, black man marrying Russian and Asians and all sorts of, you know. So I'm just asking, bro. Like, me, like, personally, I'm not like I don't look like you physique wise, but I always get the think that, oh, mashallah, you're a very masculine man. You're like a man, you know. There needs to be more people like you. The feminists always call me misogynist and stuff. So, like, I don't know, bro. What am I doing wrong, you know?
There's nothing you're doing wrong. The reality is this, and I'm going to speak openly and clearly about this. This is something that's not spoken about a lot. But to be honest, Black males are fetishized. We are sexually fetishized in the same way that Asian women are generally fetishized around the world. Just like white dudes and Asian women. That's just, it's like Black people and chicken, man. They just have a proclivity toward one another. Seems like the chickens like us, and we like the chickens fried, you know? And so it's the same thing with being a Black guy around the world. You come to Germany, and it's like you're fetishized. It's like, ooh, it's a big, tall Black guy. You know, you go to America, ooh, it's a big, tall Black guy. So to be honest, there's nothing you're doing wrong. It's just I happen to be like part of a demographic of males that's fetishized. It works to your advantage sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. You know, because it can work to your advantage, especially if you're not Muslim, it's crazy because you're just going to spend all day just, you know, smoking women. You know what I'm talking about, like left and right. As a Muslim, it's kind of like, okay, how can I get involved with this guy but not take him to my family? AKA, they want a haram relationship. So to actually find women who are willing to take you to your family, her family, is a bit difficult. But if you cast a wide enough net, and I know this doesn't really help you because you're not a Black guy, but if you cast a wide enough net, you're going to pull in a lot of fish. So what you have to do is you have to find out where you're fetishized at and take advantage of it. I just happen to be blessed.
The woman that fetishized me for being, you know, from my culture. Well, like I went through with it, but even them, their fathers were like, nah, no.
That's why you got to drag in a lot of net. You got to spread a wide net, bro, because it's like, now, okay, you got the girl, now you got to get to the family. Now you got to convince them. You see, bro. So you'd be amazed at how many times I've had women that are actually down there when it comes to the family. The family's like, yeah, nigger. hey, Bilal, homie, you call me Bilal, okay? We Muslims. So, you know what I mean, bro? Just better, you know, they're going to come at you. They're going to be like, pack it, you know, or whatever else they call you guys. I don't know, man. You just got to keep it pushing, man. You just got to just throw in the line out there. Just drag net fishing the ocean, you know?
But even like let's say I go to a Paki family, right? Like I come from a city that's like they were known to be like mercenaries, so they're like, nah, you guys are savages, and they're from a tribe that was supposedly kings and stuff. But bro, you're working at a convenience store. Like I don't understand. What are you a king of? Like I don't know, man. This is just stupid, though.
It's goofy culture stuff. That's what I talk about on the show, man. Goofy culture stuff, you know? It's like, yeah, when people say stuff, you know, yeah, you got to look at them kind of crazy. Like, well, used to be kings. Well, right now, what you doing, homie? Well, how's that? What?
Exactly, yeah.
Even Prince Harry still called Prince Harry, even though they kicked him out of the family.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, you're right, bro. Bro, you just got to keep on throwing it out there, man, you know, and just keep digging. It's really that simple. It really is. It's I hate to say it. It really is a numbers game. It's 100% a numbers game.
Yeah.
You got to go through the thousands to get that one.
Yeah.
All right, Che. I'm going to bring this brother in the background and show him. Walaikum salam to the content. Zaki. Zaki, you're having audio problems. Zaki, go ahead and try and get your audio problems fixed and then come back, huh? Okay, let's go. Let's keep it going. Abuamerican, how do you set the bar high enough for yourself being healthy and not end up burning you out? I burn out. Like I have these stages, like Ling sitting here, she'll tell you, it's like I have these stages where I'll go to the gym and I'll work out like a madman. I'll get really fit and then I'll stop. Then I'll go again, then I'll stop. So, I mean, there are certain things that you're not going to be able to maintain simply just because we're people. You know, like right now, I'm not fit. So anybody who meets me in London, even though I'm still looking muscular and I'm big, this is probably like the worst shape I've been in the past like 6 months. You know, so when I come to London, I'm not going to look like an absolute pig, but people are going to say, "Oh, wow, you look good," and I'm not even close to what I normally look like. You know, so because I haven't seen the inside of the gym in like 4 months, and I'm still like, you know, I'm still like this after 4 months out of the gym. You know, I'm like, bro, because I do push-ups here and there, whatever else. I don't think it's possible. It's possible to not burn out, but you have to be an exceptional person. I don't consider myself an exceptional person, but then it's like when you actually do what you have to do it with excellence and perfection. You know what I mean? And so that lasts longer. Or reduce what you're doing. Like if I didn't go to the gym so much, I probably wouldn't have burned out because I'm writing the vetting guide. You know, at the time when we was trying to get the co-wife app that frozen, that fell apart, you know, I'm doing this, I'm trying to stay active with my men's community. And so that's not what caused me to burn out. What caused me to burn out was it's just like the fact that I was pushing myself too hard in something that I couldn't see a benefit to. And I'm not saying that my physical fitness isn't something that I don't see a benefit to, but at my age right now, I'm like, yo, okay, I need to see a start and an end, you know, and you're young. So what you want to establish for you is basically the muscle memory and like, you know, just your body getting into a particular, I don't know if I'm making sense right now, actually, to be honest. Yeah, I'm off topic, really. It's kind of hard. Actually, you know what? It's just discipline, bro. That's it. You know, let me stop overcomplicating it. Discipline. There's nothing that's going to stop you from burning out except discipline. It's not going to be motivation. It's not going to be, you know, high and lofty goals or whatever else. Maybe their goals are mixed in with that, but discipline is king. And that's all it's going to take, bro. Goal. You got goal for me? Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.
How you doing, my brother?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, alhamdulillah. I just want to say thank you, really. Show my support to you. You've helped me a lot on Instagram. You probably remember.
Okay.
The brother,
okay.
the second wife.
Yeah, mashallah. How's that going, bro?
Alhamdulillah, it's I'm in a stable position now.
Alhamdulillah.
Where I've managed to give everything 50-50.
Because you have kids too, right? With your first wife.
Yeah.
So alhamdulillah, it worked out, man. I'm very happy, man. That makes me happy. I hope my advice helped. Was it a role in that? Did it play a role?
It definitely did help a lot. The only thing I would probably have done sooner, which I think I made a mistake on, was where I think I made the mistake where I stayed in the house where it was becoming very toxic.
Yes.
And the longer I stayed, the more toxic it became. What I did was I removed myself from the situation.
Yeah.
And I found that really helped.
Alhamdulillah.
So I think I would have probably done that a little bit sooner than I did. What I did, I just stayed there for a bit longer, and the disrespect, etc., they just increased. When I left the house, and I came back, I found that it was a lot more calmer, a livable situation.
Yeah, because your presence is more desired than your not presence, you know?
Yeah.
So when she realizes she's driving you out of the house, she's like, you know, is this worth it? You know, it gives her time to actually sit and contemplate, like, you know, the situations that are being created and how it's going on and what she can do different, you know, because the work can't be all yours. And
initially I thought I'd try the route of, you know, trying to please and just say, you know, reassure, which I was reassuring, which I think it is somewhat helpful, but it's also a detriment as well, because then they have a free pass on to say or do whatever they want.
There you go. You're rewarding bad behavior.
Yeah. So
what
yeah,
do you get?
alhamdulillah. Jazakallah for that, and I think it really did save me. And I would advise brothers to seek advice from people such as yourself.
Alhamdulillah. Been through it 100 times, not 100 times, but you know, I've been through enough times where it's like, I think I tried every like iteration of what you could possibly do to where it's like, now it's very difficult to get wrong. You know.
I mean, even going through it, I mean, I was trying things. I'm thinking, okay, this doesn't work. Okay, I need to try this now. And you know, just my own personal learning, you have to be really quick.
Yes. The learning curve
on
is
the board.
steep.
Yeah. But alhamdulillah, jazakallah for that.
Well,
and I have another question. In terms of time management, I'm
Yes.
finding this to be an issue now, where I feel like literally I have no time.
Yes.
Um, how are you? How would you split would you split your time in the day, or you just split the nights and just the days you do whatever you need to do?
I mean, what I attempt to do is I attempt to, change houses at Maghrib. Now, here, it's a little bit different situation, but in general, what I like to do is split, the times at Maghrib. So you leave one house at Maghrib every day. But right now I'm not running that situation, but it has been working, alhamdulillah. I did say this in like several videos in the past. I don't really say it much anymore, but it's like, more women means less time and less money, so
100%.
you definitely have to calculate that if you take on another wife, that you're going to spend a lot of time, especially, and this was my whole thing with living in one roof, and I don't advise that anymore, even though it's possible. It's just a matter of like saving time between like households and whatnot, so.
Can I just say, it's a big feat in itself just to have two separate houses.
Yeah.
To do two in the same house, subhanallah. This, I really, I have a superior level of respect for someone like yourself. I really have no idea how you would achieve something like that.
It's not easy. It's not easy. It's a constant. You got to be on your A game 24/7. You don't have a day or a moment you can let your guard down.
I'm at the stage where basically there's no communication between them two.
Okay.
Is it best to keep it like that, or?
It can be like Ling Ling and the Russian, they talk. They both have similar personalities in terms of like very very nurturing, soft personalities to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you to a degree.
To a degree.
So
I'm just playing with
I
it.
was just killing this.
So that's okay, but there's other times it's not going to work, where they're just not going to be able to talk, and that's better, So if they can talk, that's good, because I like the concept and I like the idea of one family. Really, it is for me. It's one family. If each woman has a child, those children are bonded by blood. They both call you dad because you are the dad, right? So it is one family by blood connection. If there's no children, then obviously that's not going to be the case. But if they're your wife, then that's obviously going to be an option at one point, or it's going to be like an eventuality that could come to pass. So I like to perceive my family as one. And so it's like, okay, yeah, maybe you're jealous, maybe you don't like her, but the reality is,
Yeah.
it's family. And even if there's a divorce that takes place, so let's say you have a kid with a woman and a divorce takes place, and you have kids with that woman, they're still family because there's a blood connection. So
Mm-hmm.
even if that woman's out of the picture that a woman doesn't like, and there's a kid involved, they're still connected by blood, in a odd roundabout way as family, even when I'm dead. So this is important to me that the women are like cordial with one another as an absolute minimum. Doesn't mean they got to talk to each other.
I've got another one as well. I have obviously you have a preference. I have a preference for my first one.
Yeah.
And how do you cope with something like that when you have a preference for one over the other?
Have it, just don't show it. Have it, but
Okay.
don't show it. When I say don't show it, obviously it means to your other wife, or it really just don't let either of them know. You can have it, just don't let it, because then that can lead to a situation, especially if they talk to each other, where one starts to use that, like weaponizes it against the other, and you don't want that.
Okay.
Because women they have competition also. We are a tournament species, and there is tournament behaviors between women also. This is why they talk about competition anxiety. She will come along, like finish her. They'll try it. Just so don't let her know.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
No. I got somebody in the background.
All right.
You good? You got anything else, bro? Well, they just disappeared. Never mind.
I had another question, but
No, go
can't think
ahead.
of
I
it from
mean,
the top of
people
my
are
head.
popping in and out. So it's like,
How do you deal with, like, I don't know if this is something that you deal with, but if they ask questions, I think in this situation it's better to say less. because
Ask
you always
questions
get
in regards
found
to
out
what?
or caught out with something. Can in some situations, say if I say something to the one wife, should I make it as though you prefer treat one like when you speak to the one, say I speak to her as if I prefer her over the other, and when I speak to the other one, I prefer her over the other. Is that a way to deal with them?
I mean,
Or
if they don't talk to each other, that's perfect. If they don't talk to each other, but if they talk to each other, that's eventually going to blow up in your face.
yeah,
So if they're not in communication with one another, they knock yourself out. But if they talk to each other even once a month, that is 100% going to be a hot potato that's going to burn your hands and your lap when you drop it. So I wouldn't advise that. Just run it as game. Run game. It's like be slick, be smooth. I tend to make everybody think I don't like them. It's like just not just a joke. I'm like negs. If you're familiar with game theory, negs. I'll run negs instead. As opposed to actually like direct compliments, just to keep everything like nice and calm and cool and just cocky, funny. That's my favorite thing. So
okay,
yeah.
I find that if I drop a compliment, it's more like, do you say that to the other one as well? Things like that. But
but see, you got to expect that because now she's turning your compliment into a congruence test. And so you just got to flip it back on. It's like, I say that to all the girls. What makes you think I just said it to her? You got to be slick,
Okay. No worries.
Don't let her ruffle you, don't let them like, it's like, they're going to try and be slick with that stuff sometimes. Yeah.
No problem. Okay.
To her, like, how do you think I married you? I said it to your mom too. Just why do you think your mom likes me? Yeah, just be a clown with it. Don't let him get away with like trying to like throw you off your horse.
Yeah, to think about it, I think I was backtracking on a lot of things. I was saying no, it's fine, but then that's just it shows weakness, doesn't it? I think I should just own it.
Down. Agree and amplify is what it's called in game theory. So agree and amplify. So instead of agreeing here, what I do is I tend to amplify. So that's when I come with like, why do you think I say that to all the girls, not just you? What do you think I just said to her? Like, just throw it like that. Like, how do you think I got my promotion? I said it to my boss too. That's amplify. I'll just say something out there. It doesn't have to be true. I'm not lying, but it's like, it's joking with her. I guess that would be kind of a jokey lie, but you know what I'm saying. Like, be slick with it.
Jazakallah anyway, and thank you very much. Thank you for all your advice and help.
All right, bro. No problem. Assalamu alaikum. Becky, how's your audio doing this time?
Okay, the mic working now? We good?
There you go, my man.
Okay, assalamu alaikum, akhi. How you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Barakallahu feek. How you doing, bro?
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so I'm kind of young, relatively, 17 years old.
Oh wow.
I had a couple of questions. I've been watching you since I was like 16, so about a year and a half now.
Okay.
And the guys like you and Mahdi, they're doing some really good stuff in this space. So yeah, really want to thank you for that. I've got this question right now. Like, I'm about to turn 18 in a few months, right?
Okay.
And my grades are pretty good. I chose like medicine as like a career path, so that's going pretty well. But recently I just I've been having some doubts regarding it. My parents want me to take it, but like I've realized I'll have to spend like around 12 years before I can actually start doing what I want to be doing. So by the time I'm 30, that's when I'll actually start, making real money or doing some real stuff in the medical field. And I mean, that's the type of field it is. It takes like 10, 12 years to get to that level of qualification. So I just recently came to the realization, I suppose, that I'd rather be working with my hands right now, providing for myself, rather than be dependent on my father for like the next 7, 8 years, and basically be a burden on my family. Like, it's basically like a thing for my ego, also a thing for me reevaluating my situation, having a bit of a crisis, I guess, where I'm thinking, I'd rather go and be like a manual laborer, and I live in like a third world country. So yeah, I mean, it's just basically
I don't think you have to be in a third world country to be a manual laborer. Actually, like the trades. If you go into the trades, the tradesmen are making a lot of money right now because there's so many people not doing it that the demand is so high that the pay has become higher. Especially like in Germany, the trades pay a lot of money if you are a tradesman that runs his own business. which is not difficult. You can literally be like a single company tradesman here in Germany. I've seen it. You know, a guy has one or two guys. There was a guy, I used to work with him. He was a self-employed Varema. What are these things called in English? Chalasua, like shades. They're outside office buildings. And he was a one-man company, and then he would hire out work, you know, and so I'd go work with him, you know, work for him because he paid, you know, half decent. And he was killing it, dude. The dude was killing it. And he was just a basic tradesman. But because he found, you know, something that not a lot of people wanted to do, but there was a huge demand for, the guy, he named his price. And it was quite high. So it's not like the trades are bad. This guy was killing like maybe like a few 100,000 every like month and a half, you know? he's making more than doctors and lawyers hanging out on the side of a building, putting in like, you know, electronic shades. They were literally like, you know, digital shades. Sometimes there was complicated parts you had to program, like the sundial, you know, whatnot. But I mean, it's not rocket science. But he worked in his hand.
Yeah. But like
So,
right
you don't
now,
have to
like
go to a third world country.
yeah, but like I do live in a third world country, and like the labor
Okay.
here is pretty damn cheap. So like you would obviously be getting paid a lot less than if I pursued like a 10-year long education to get to like that point. But I'm thinking that this is actually better than me being stuck in that constant cycle of go to work every month and get paid at the end of it. And like I think the people around me and I'm seeing their lives, and I just don't want to be like that. So
Okay, but here's the thing. It's like, okay, now you add a different thing into the whole picture. It's like you kind of, when it comes down to the hand trades in this regard, it's like you kind of lock in yourself. I don't know if you plan on leaving your country or not, but it's like if you want to, then being like, you know, taking the long route would be the better route. You know, if you don't plan on leaving the country or whatever else, and you think you can actually like find, you know, maybe in a major city or something, you know, a trade that's going to pay you well, doing something for corporations, you know, then it might be worthwhile. But otherwise, it's like if you're like in a rural, you know, in a country that's not like, you know, Western country, it might be best to take the long route, because the long-term payoff might be better, will probably be significantly better, instead of being in a trade that's not really looked upon highly, you know, and therefore not paid highly in the country you're in. Do you see what I'm saying?
yeah, definitely I get that. But yeah, but I was just like having this sort of thing of like wasting 10 years of my prime and like, you know, not getting to live the life I want, or at least like having this problem with personal freedom of where I have to
Yeah.
be stuck in the cycle of like studying for exams and giving exams for the next 10 years until I
Well, I mean,
finally qualify at the end of it.
how much of your life does this take up? All of this study and all of this type of stuff. How much of your life does this take up?
Over 10 years
No, I mean like in a day. Give me like an hour.
in a
8
day,
hours a day.
like, oh no, if I go into that field, like it'll probably take up most of my day. It's a pretty strenuous field in studies, medicine.
Mm, Hmm. I mean, I would loathe to say go into the trades in a country that's not going to pay you well in the long run. Me personally, I would, you know, if I was in that situation, and your parents probably feel the same way, I'd rather see my son take the long, slow, and steady route in that particular regards and come out higher in the end. But that said, there's no reason why you can't make money in between then. You know, you just got to find out how you can do it, you know, and you just got to be
Yeah,
motivated towards like,
definitely.
okay, I don't want to do it because I just spent all day studying and taking tests, and now I'm going to go work. Yeah. You know, how bad do you want it? You know what I mean? So I think
Yeah, I'm
for
actually looking into some online like
there you go.
certain copywriting, e-commerce stuff that I can do right now. So stuff
Get
that
this.
like isn't like really high paying, but like around $1,000, $1,500 a month even is pretty good for me living in
Yeah.
Pakistan. So
Get
like
this kid in high school, just an
yeah,
example of like how creative we have to be in this 21st century. This kid in high school, now AI writing is like a thing. AI writing does a very good job. And this kid was going to high school doing other kids' assignments using an AI writing program, making like $100 a week in high school. I mean, that's not big money, but in high school, that's huge money in high school. He's making like $100 a week just doing people's assignments. And he wasn't even doing assignments. He just put the basic information in, and the AI would write the report for them. They'd give them the report, and he would get paid. You see what I'm
yeah,
saying? Okay, so maybe you want to make more, but this is how creative it's become nowadays. It's become so simple that it's like, you ain't even got to do, it's not even hard work anymore. It's just a matter of like, oh, hey, look, there's a little niche I can do, so you find something like that, and just bring in some cash.
Yeah. That's definitely like the main thing I'm going to, because right now, like the online space is pretty easy to get some
Yeah.
cash in from. I looked into Andrew Tate's HU as well. That seems pretty legit, actually. Regardless of what like the others saying, some of my friends are in there. They've made like 2 grand, 2.5 grand. Not like really big money, but good enough for my age. So I'm thinking,
Yeah.
let's get into that.
Hey man, if I could open up a website that would just bring me in like $100 a week, I'd do it. I just set up the website and let it run some AI writing script that like kids can go in and put in their stuff and do the reports for them. I'd take $100 a week. It's nothing. It's pennies, but I'd still take it.
Yeah, it's free money
It'll pay
basically.
for itself and then give me like, I don't know. I could definitely buy like Suron motorbike parts with that, like at the end of 2 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's just like this. Why not?
Okay, so
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, 100%, 100%. That's what I'm definitely gonna be moving forward with. The other question I had is recently over quarantine, like I used to be like a short, fat kid, and over quarantine, in basically the last 2 years, I had a growth spurt. I got like really in really good shape, like
Right.
broad shoulders, chiseled abs, stuff like that.
Nice.
Like doing it all at home. And recently, I've started to get like at my school. A maybe like a ton of female attention, and there's like
Gotcha.
parties at my school. There's like a lot of stuff that goes on there. It's like, even though it's in Pakistan, it's like a really high end posh type of school that I'm
Okay.
going to. Like it's like sort of for the elite or something, where like the
Gotcha.
educational best come to. So they have this like western sort of atmosphere there, so everybody's like in relationships and this and that,
Mm,
and half struggling with not really struggling, but there's a temptation of when you get that amount of female attention, you're just like, you know everyone else is doing it, so man.
gotcha. So what exactly is the question?
uh the question is, because I guess, how do you resist that sort of urge? Because I'm constantly like in this sort of like space where everyone's making out, sleeping with each other. There's a ton of zina amongst the teenagers at parties, at their houses, here, there, and like I don't want to fall into the fucking porn addiction. So, like, what do I go with here?
This goes. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we can say here. This goes back to the first thing that I was saying. It's like one thing that is easy in life is the women part. Just remember that first off, because they want you to, and you see that yourself in the school. The women want to give the guys want to give the women, right? That's why they're getting together. So this is an easy part. This isn't like a difficult part. So that's the first thing to remember. It's like spending energy on that is kind of like, you know what I mean? It's kind of pointless because it's like at some point. Not even at some point. You're saying it right now. Women are throwing themselves at you. Not maybe throwing themselves up, but you're getting a lot of attention, right? Because you got ripped, you got fit, and everything like this. All you have to do is maintain that. And that's always going to be an option in your life. As long as you're pushing your life forward, women are always going to be an option because they're always going to go for a guy. They're always going to chase the guy. As a matter of fact, they're going to chase the guy who gives them less attention more so than the guy that gives them a lot of attention. So you keep this stuff in context when you're like looking at your life right now. I mean, you're more on the right path with the beginning question than anything else going on in the background. It's like, how do I get the money together? How do I like make money now? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Those are the more important questions, and they're going to require more energy, because what's going to happen is, and I can promise you this, I can tell you 100%, if you go into that realm, it's going to distract you from everything. It's going to distract you from your school and your long-term goals. And if you have a short-term goal, it's going to take you away from that too. Because what do I say all the time? Like I told the last guy, more women equals less time, less money. And that includes your first woman. So when you get your first woman, you get that much less time, you get that much less money. You see what I mean? So the moment you go into that realm, you're going to get a girl. Guess what's going to happen? She's going to get fickle, whatever else, because that's what young women are. They're fickle. And then she's going to drop you for somebody else, and then you're going to find somebody else. And then that's just all going to be wasted energy and direction and focus and whatnot. Now, I'm not saying be a hermit, nerd, whatever else. I'm not saying at the same time go out and be like, a zany and making fornication. But what I am saying is like, if I could go back in time and like refocus my energy on something, I definitely reduce the amount of time I spent chasing women and letting women catch me when they're chasing me. Dude, I would completely retool that in my life, 100%. Is the most disgust. And I said this in my men's community to the brothers in there. I was like, the time we spend on the topic of women is just disgusting. And women aren't disgusting. The time we spend on them is just a negligent, disgusting waste of like human mental capital. Ridiculous. I would say that don't go into it because it's going to distract you 100%. Let me tell you something. You're 17, you're in your prime, you've got super high testosterone production. And the reality is, and I don't want to make it like more attractive to you, but the reality is that's some sweet honey to taste, dude. And most people can't come off that addiction once they taste it. You get sucked down
Yeah,
that path.
one thing I want to say is like what you're saying, like I've experienced just the not the just the physical intimacy, but even the attention, like the constant texting back and forth on WhatsApp, whatever. Like it saps up so much of your time, like hours and hours that could be
Yeah.
spent like hitting the gym or trying to build something up, or even like doing studying, whatever. That'll like I've done that, and I've like for like the past year, I guess, for past few months, I've been like heavily ignoring that stuff and like trying to like focus on everything I'm doing because obviously I'm having a bit of an existential crisis right now. So like
Yeah.
I've noticed a bit of like me getting socially outcasted by some of the friend groups of those girls and like those sorts of scenarios. But at the end of the day, it just helps me more in a certain way. Focus on myself, focus on my man, focus on like my physicality, what I'm trying to do in life, all of that. So in a way, it's
Yeah.
always like a blessing in disguise. And like if you can, and if the people watching this, if you're like walking down the path of your man, sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes like your primal urges like make it difficult for you. But at the end
Yeah.
of the day, you come out always somehow like stronger, better. And if you go through that sort of hardship, you realize that what, you're better than that, you're stronger than that, and you at the end of it you come out better. And bro,
For
like
sure.
I'd really like to like thank you guys like Mahdi, Red Pill, Arabic, those guys, the Muslim skeptic. You guys are like really bringing back like the essence of true Islam and true like Muslim men within the youth. Some guy like me, like I was 16 watching your show, and I was like, damn, this guy's like speaking facts. So yeah, thanks a lot for that. And yeah, I like this. I love to see more streams from you, like the Ibn Philippe show. I don't know. I don't know anything about the cryptocurrency, but I was like watching like the blockchain streams, not understanding a singular thing. But like the Ibn Philippe shows, bro, they're sweet, bro. They're pure facts. Like the game
Yeah.
master spitting game. I'd like to hear more of it. So keep it up, man.
I'm there. Inshallah. No, excuse me. No, inshallah. Our case Zaki, inshallah. We'll catch you, bro. Barakallahu feek. Stay in contact and keep your head straight, man.
Allah Hafiz, akhi.
All right, assalamu alaikum. How do I deal with long distance relationship? I haven't consummated marriage yet, but we've been texting for a while. Should I avoid love words, etc.? I mean, go see your wife, inshallah. I've done long distance relationships, and I'm not a fan of them. I had one long distance relationship. I ended up divorcing before I even met the woman. Just because of like problems. So not real problems. It's just like she made a move and I didn't like it, and it's just like it never left my head. And yeah. So go see your wife, man. That's all there is to it. I'm not a fan of long distance relationships. Don't do it. Just stay away from those things, man. They're very, 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 very difficult to maintain unless you're very rich. When I say very rich, I mean it's like people work for you and you can take off when you want and go fly around the world to go see your girl or fly her to see you when you want. Otherwise, don't do it. Are we allowed to spar or is it haram? I suppose you're talking about striking to the face. As far as I know, striking to the face is not permitted. I don't know about in sparring. I don't think the ruling changes. Allah knows best. So does it still make sense to get a vetting guide if I join the men's community? Most of the guys in the men's community have the vetting guide. I don't know if it's necessary. You can probably ask whatever question you want and get it answered there because we got some really like there's a brother. It's a brother's name. I don't want to say his name, but he watches the channel. If I saw his name, I'd tell him. But it's a brother. His name starts with S. The brother just learned like a whole bunch of stuff inside the group. The bro's like he's wow. MashaAllah. You talk about implementation and making it work. That brother's got an answer for everything. I mean, I literally don't even have to say much. That brother, he's like living he's living the dream. He got his wife hand feeding him. Brothers flipping out about sisters flipping out about my wives tying my shoes. This brother, he's got a picture of his wife feeding him with her hands. So I mean, the brother, he took it to a new level. I was like, hey, wait a minute, what's up with my girls, man? You need to feed me with your hands. What's wrong with y'all? Thank you. Let me right now, Timothy. Thank you. You didn't even really cook. No. So, we got brothers in there that probably answer everything you want. But the thing with the vetting guide is, and this is not even a sales pitch, because you guys know I'm not much of a big advertiser. I'll try and advertise, and I don't really do a good job at it. But the thing with the vetting guide is that I just cover stuff that you probably wouldn't think of to ask the questions, But then if you're running into an issue with a woman, you think it's a red flag, you could ask in a group, and brothers would definitely be able to help you, So, yeah. And that video on my Gumroad about the men's community, that thing is so off. I need to change that. That video is outdated. So, yeah. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Do you recommend marrying abroad and bringing a wife to the West, or keep her and a wife back home? If she has family out here, it's okay to bring her. I would say bring her. If she doesn't have family out here, I'd be kind of doubtful and worried about it. Because in general, social shame, family shame keeps a lot of women in line. And it's unfortunate, but yeah, they need to be kept in line. And if there's nothing to prevent her from just acting out, like family shame or whatever else, then they'll probably act out once they get here. And a lot of those best. Not all women are going to do that, obviously, So, yeah. Just don't do a distance marriage. Marlon, he's in the men's community. Marlon, vetting guide is very useful. Men's community is there to address your specific questions and answers in individualized communities, cover topics from many different angles. Indeed, that is very true. Abuamerican, I have multiple wives in different countries. How do you be just and equal? You can't. It's impossible. It's not possible to be just and equal between your wives when they live in different countries. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It's impossible. Allah knows best. This has to be done with the agreement of the wives. There has to be an understanding, and they have to agree to it. If they don't agree to it, then you either got to let her go, or you got to find some way to get her close to you, or get everybody else close to her, so that her rights can be met. Otherwise, she's foregoing her rights out of goodness from her heart, which is a good deed on her part, and it's a mercy to you. But otherwise, there's no way to be just between wives if you're living internationally and you're not flying across wherever they are every day. It's just not possible. Anybody says otherwise is a liar. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi. We're looking at how do you know if a potential spouse is really into you aside from going to mahar, for example. How fast she's willing to marry. If she really wants you, she'll try and get married as fast as possible. If she ain't interested in you, she's going to drag it out because she just wants your time and your attention, your non-sexual time and attention. But if she's really into you, she's going to try and accelerate things as much as possible. And the more she becomes attracted to you, over time, the more she's going to want to push to have everything done. So that's where the low mahar comes in, because now women understand they're not stupid. Let's not act like women are dumb here. They're not. She understands that it's going to take time to get that money together, if you don't already have it. And so if she's like, oh, I got to wait 2 years for this guy to get the money together, I'm not going to get married in 2 years to this guy. If she really likes you, she's going to make it easy on you. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wayak. Interesting point about black men being fetishized. I don't see much of that in the UK. It's more el racismo in regions where, okay. Here's the thing with the UK. It exists in the UK. It's just the thing is where you're seeing the racism is you're looking in the wrong places. You see, here's the thing. The racism is from the guys. Them guys are mad that some black dude is getting attention and attraction markers from their women. The women ain't trying to be racist. How many women have you met that are actually racist? I mean, I've seen some racist women, but really, I haven't met too many personally to where it's I haven't met it. I just personally haven't met it. There are racist women, absolutely, for sure. But how many have you met? Even when I was in the UK, it was let's just be specific. The Asian sisters were really like, they were on it. They were like, oh, you know. But then if you go to like, you know, this girl's brother or her dad, you know, that the average, and I, you know, I'm not picking on any specific community, but the average, because they were the biggest community groups there, the average Pakistani or Bengali brother or father, they ain't trying to give you their woman. They're not trying to do it. Even if the girl wants you, they ain't trying to do it. So where's the racism? Is it the girls or is it the guys? You might interact with the guys more, and that's more realistic because even in the UK, I interact with the guys more than the women by a significant degree. I'd say 99% of the time I'm interacting with the guys. You think a lot of these guys are racist for sure. But then the moment you come across, like, you know, that 1%, that 0.1% woman, you know, she's like, I tell a story. There's a Pakistani sister, she wanted to marry me, you know. She was a police officer. You know, she was dead serious. She was like, "Oh, I want to do it." Her son was kind of like, because she didn't have a wali except for her son. And her son was, she was like, "Well, he's just gonna listen because he's my son. So if I want to get married to you, it's gonna happen. Or you can go find somewhere else to live." You know, so she's basically gonna bully her wali. You know, and there was an Indian sister that I married. You know, in the UK, but the family was really like, you know, and that didn't last long either. You know, so. Who are you dealing with? It's a question when you make a statement like that, you know. And I don't even think it's racism. It could be racism. I don't want to like belittle the reality of racism, but at the same time, it's just sometimes it's that just goofy culture stuff. They're so culturally ingrained in their ways of life. The idea and the concept of like a black guy marrying their girl is so out of the idea and framework of their way of thinking that to you it looks like racism, and in their minds they probably honestly believe they're not racist, thus probably truly aren't. You know, they probably in their mind and in their heart, if you could peel it open and figure out that logic and take away all the culture and look at their heart, they probably aren't racist. But a black guy as a son-in-law is so far out of their cultural framework that all we are going to see, me and you, is racism. There's no way we can see it otherwise. You're like, everything you're saying is not making sense to me. It's because what you're saying is you can't see your daughter marrying a black guy. Racist. you see what I'm saying? But in his mind, there's so many layers of culture, this, that, the other, history, family, all this type of stuff. Race plays a role, but at the same time, it's not race itself. Do you see what I mean? It's a bunch of goofy ass culture. And I know that sounds like a contradiction, but it's really not. You know what I mean? It's just layers and layers and layers of just caked on culture that just doesn't allow them to be mentally flexible enough to actually say, hey, you know what? This is something that's allowed in Islam. Why am I having a problem with it? No, it's baked on paint and it's never coming off. You know what I mean? You can put as much paint thinner on as you want. That stuff is like concrete now. So yeah. No, just the video is outdated. The price is not, unfortunately. Yeah, Gopi country is a crazy thing in the Ummah, man. It's very unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. All right, guys, we are at 2 hours, and I actually have to take a biological break. I am sorry to the two people. There were some people who came and gone. You know, they waited patiently while I was talking to other people, and you guys came and gone. I am sorry, but you know, I was in the middle of talking to some people that want to just cut them off. You know, just so I can get everybody on. Maybe I should do that. I don't know, but I do need a biological break, and it's been 2 hours. Barakallahu fikum. Mohammed Isam making good points. I mean, Arcane 12 making good points. I mean, you know, hey, fair, but I'm just still not a cultural type of guy. Anyway, Jazakallah khair for tuning in. Don't forget, Mahdi Tajani, Muhammad Malik, and Abuamerican himself in London, eat and greet. We'll be sitting down with you brothers, you know, as close as possible. Can't say one-to-one, but we will be like, you know, together with you brothers, you know, going over topics and whatnot, questions as close as possible. 1-to-1 consultations or 3-to-1 consultations are available. So you can actually get, you know, me, Muhammad Malik, and Mahdi Tijani together alone. You can bring your problems, your issues, whatever else does. So we will help you as a trifecta in getting your problem solved. Contact us directly, either one of us or any one of us, to find out how to do that. Do not miss it. Limited seats. It will be limited to, I do believe it's 50 people, so make sure you get in. And that's only because of the venue. We're not trying to like, cause any sort of like anxiety. Oh, well, whatever else. It's just we couldn't get a bigger venue on such short notice. Get over to the description. Actually, let me go ahead and drop that right now. Let me see. Can I get that from here? Wait, let me see if I can get this here. Let's see. Where is it? There it is right there. You can go here to this link and find all the information you need. Barakallahu Feek for signing in. Yeah. Coming to the show. Abuamerican's tired and my bladder's calling. Thanks for tuning in. And inshallah, we'll see you on the next show. Barakallahu Feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.